What's going on, everybody? Double Check Effects Sports Code coming at you with another video. Shout out to all who have liked and subscribed to the channel. Decided to take a couple weeks off. I felt like it was necessary to take some time since there were not many games going on, especially just MLB. Day to day in MLB can be very difficult. So just wanted to make sure we had a little bit of time to reset, recoup, and make sure that we give a pretty good prediction here for today. So without further ado, we're going to dive into Super Bowl 59 prediction. Now, this will probably be the first of two videos, I'll be honest, because there are two scenarios that I really like. I'm going to start with the first one because I feel like it's the most, I think it's the best pick, but I do like a consolation pick. You got to double check your work, so I think it's good to double check with having two options, so that way if one doesn't come through, then the other one's there. So we're going to dive right in. To our Super Bowl 59 prediction. Let's get to our notes, okay? And as you can see by this, I have the Chiefs and the Packers, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about that as to why I like both these teams. But first, I think it's important to dive in to Super Bowl 59, or LIX, if you will, and the importance of what it means, right? So the number 176 deals a lot with opposing forces, okay? So opposing forces such as Jesus, Lucifer, 176, okay? You have black, you have white, 176 and 59, okay? 59th Super Bowl, phrase give and get, 176, okay? Men, women, men and women, 176. So you can see there's a lot of opposing forces that come with this phrase and this word. And I think it's important that we identify that right off the bat to help us narrow down the theme. And also, as you know, we've mentioned in past how the number 59 deals a lot with common associations with the black community. We know this too. If you've seen other people's videos, Rasta, 59, blues. Of course, blues is famous for jazz music in the New Orleans. Words such as slave, etc. You get the idea. Okay, so 59 is very associated to the black community, if you will, and New Orleans is going to be the host of the, event. Okay, so here we go. We're going to dive right in. Okay, so why do I like these two teams? Well, I think the biggest thing and the biggest reason is that the Chiefs. The storyline of the year is the Chiefs are trying to three-peat. Okay, and I wanted to tie this into Bart Starr, okay, and the Packers, all right, because they were the first team to technically three-peat, okay, 65, 66, and 67, respectfully. 65, of course, it wasn't called the Super Bowl; it was just the NFL championship, the last one. And what I noticed right off the bat about Bart Starr is what we've talked about in our previous videos. He has the birthday of January 9th, okay. If you've watched my videos or knew anything of that, the Feast of Janus is on January 9th. Okay, the beginning, right? The beginning, the gateway, the transition, the beginning, right? And the end, the war and the peace. A lot of the opposing forces theme, right? And what makes him interesting is his number 15. Not only that, but and again, numerous times we've mentioned this will be the 11th time New Orleans is hosting the event. I just wanted to point that out. Bart Starr passed away at the age of 85. Okay, of course, we've talked extensively about Twins 85. Go back and watch the John Madden videos. 85, we talked a lot about that. So what I want to do here is talk about Bart Starr and his connection to Patrick Mahomes. All right, Bart Starr was born January 9th, 1934, and into that day of the Super Bowl, which is 2/9/25, is exactly a span of 1,093 days. Okay, so as we take a look over here, Bart Starr's birthday to the day of the game is exactly 1,093 months. So we're going to click on that number, and you'll notice it gives us, it's the 183rd prime and also the 14th star number. Okay, why is that interesting? So if you just type in the very phrase Bart, okay, it gives you 183 in the Latin gematria, right? 183 on the Latin gematria. Okay, so not only that, it's the 183rd prime number. Okay, why is that interesting? Because I went back and I saw Patrick Mahomes' playoff record currently, right? Currently he's sitting on a 15-3 playoff record, right? So let's assume the Chiefs get the number one seed in a bye, right? That's pretty likely, right? That means he would need to win 3 games to become 18-3, right? Because they would become 18-3, assuming they win the first seed. So I think it's pretty solid to say that they will get the first seed. And also, 1093 is the 14th star number. Okay. Why is that fascinating? Because Patrick Mahomes can go 4-1 in the Super Bowl. Okay, and we're going to get to this 14 in a minute. But remember, Super Bowl I was played in the year 1967. All right, that was the first inaugural one, the AFL versus NFL World Championship game. All right, so a lot of ties already there, as you can see where I'm going with this. All right, what's also interesting is that Mahomes can win his 4th championship 10 years after Brady won his 4th. Number 10 is the 4th triangular number. All right, so I think that's very interesting to see as well. So we'll just go to the number 10, and as you can see, 4th triangular number. Okay, so very important, right? So we're going to get to how the Packers tie into this here in a little bit. I just wanted you to see that 10 years ago Brady won his 4th, and now 10 years later Mahomes can win his 4th. And remember, this will be played on the 40th day of the year. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit. In Super Bowl 55, where Brady and Mahomes played, they scored 40 points collectively. So interesting there. The storyline between Brady and Mahomes reminds me a lot of the golf narrative of Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. Right. So Tiger Woods, early on, looked like he was going to break the streak of Jack Nicklaus, 18 major wins. Right. And then he was stuck on 14 for a long time. Right? He was stuck on 14 for a long time. He never ended up beating Jack Nicklaus. He got one more. Just like I think Mahomes, will have a fast start. He'll be on 4-1 for a long time, in my opinion. I think he eventually gets to 6. Maybe just losing that one, but I ultimately think he'll win 6 and just be one short of Brady, because I don't think he'll ever touch that record. So now we're going to segue a little bit, because I think it's pretty obvious from, the Kansas City Chiefs are a pretty obvious pick, in my opinion, and the opinion of others. So I want to dive into some things that we may not notice that, I know no one else has noticed this part, so I'm going to dive into this. So St. Louis Cathedral, it's located in New Orleans. It's an interesting tie to the Super Bowl. St. Louis was named after Louis IX of France, hence Louis IX, Super Bowl Louis IX, right? So in a sense, the Super Bowl is named after, and it's attributing Louis IX of France, okay? And what reminds me of this is the World's Fair. Now, I want to go to this guy right here, okay? This is an important piece that you may be going overlooked. I don't think you should overlook this part, but this guy's name is David R. Francis, and he was in charge, the main promoters of the St. Louis World Fair of 1904. Okay, the president of the Louisiana Purchase. Again, they're playing the game in Louisiana. And what's unique about this guy is that he was not only the mayor of St. Louis, but the governor of Missouri, right? So again, the Mississippi River, we're going to talk a little bit about how, the Mississippi River floods into New Orleans. Again, the levees were breached, Hurricane Katrina and whatnot. But let's take a look at David Francis, the day he died. I think that's important right here. So January 15th, 1927. Okay, January 15th, 1927 was the day that he died. Okay, why is that day significant? Is because Super Bowl I was held on January 15th in 1967. So 40 years before this guy, the promoter of this World Fair, we're going to tell in how this World Fair event, ties together of Mayor of St. Louis. 40 years, again, the Super Bowl's 40th day of the year, 40 years later. And what's also interesting is in 1927. Now, remember the last time the Packers and Chiefs played, the Chiefs lost to the Packers by the score of 19-27. And I believe that was in commemoration of this guy, David Francis, the promoter of the 1904 World's Fair. So we're going to continue on with this here in a little bit. It's a pretty long video, so I want to make sure I go a little faster than usual. One day in particular that stands out was the last day of the fair. Okay, so we got this from the last day of the fair to the upcoming Super Bowl. It's a span of 43,900 days. Okay, the phrase fleur de lis, right? The fleur de lis, the very famous symbol in French culture, in Cajun, Louisiana culture, Mardi Gras, 439 days, right? From 1904, I think I have this recorded right here. Okay, so look, the last day of the World Fair to the day of the Super Bowl is exactly 43,900 days. That's pretty crazy, all right? So, and sorry, I didn't have it ready for us, but yeah, I'm a little rusty. Sorry, guys, I do apologize. It's been a while, but the word fleur de lis right here, 439, and this was exactly a span of 439 days, right? So I think that's very important tie. Again, the Packers finished the score 1927. Of course, the coach of the Packers' name is Matt LaFleur, right? Matt LaFleur reminds me of the dodgeball movie, Peter LaFleur. Janus, the first pope, Peter. And a side note, this is a very side note piece, but it reminds me of, that day, the last day of the World's Fair was December 1st. December 1st, 2012 was also the same day that number 59 for the Kansas City Chiefs, Javon Belcher, killed his girlfriend and later himself at the Chiefs practice facility. Okay, another significant day, 108 years later. Okay, we'll talk about the 108 later. But I wanted to save some time to talk about the Packers because I believe the Packers are a really solid narrative to win the NFC. I have one other option to win the AFC. I bet you can guess who it is. We're going to make a video on that next, but we're going to talk a little bit about how the Green Bay Packers connect to this upcoming Super Bowl. Okay, so the Green Bay Packers won Super Bowls 1, 2, and 31. Of course, the phrase Wisconsin is 1, 2, 31. New Orleans 1, 2, 31, and Jordan, his middle name is Alexander, equals 1, 2, 31. Okay, and I believe Jordan Love will win the 2024 regular season MVP. Okay, I don't think he wins the Super Bowl, but I think he has what it takes to win the MVP. They need some new heroes. They need some new heroes. Patrick Mahomes is becoming more of the villain character now. He was a hero, now he's becoming more of a villain. WWE script, if you will. And I think Jordan Love is a perfect fit to be this new hero role. Because now they contribute two things, right? About Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan. Okay, Michael Jordan was famous for 2 different three-peats, and now Mahomes can three-peat against Jordan, right? What I found unique about this was, Michael Jordan, his first MVP season began in 1987 to 1988, which was 37 years ago, and he averaged 37.1 points that season. Okay, so you go 2024 this year minus 1987, you get 37, and of course Jordan equals 37. Jordan, 37. Okay. We'll come back to that in a minute here, but I just wanted you to see that. I like Jordan Love to win potentially the MVP. Also, remember, MJ lost his father at the age of 30, and Jordan Love lost his father at the age of 14. Okay, hence the pi connection, right? 3.14 between the two. Okay, this is gonna be for another video. Orban Love Jr. was a member. His father was a member of the Bakersfield Police Department for over 27 years and died at the age of 51. We'll tie this into another video involving the movie The Running Man. Again, Amplified Truth mentions this movie in other videos that he does. Shout out to Amplified Truth. But The Running Man, The Butcher of Bakersfield, was released also in the year 1987. And of course, Jordan Love is from Bakersfield. Okay. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, how they play this role in this Super Bowl. Okay, Brett Favre famously won Super Bowl 31 and lost 32. Okay, 31 plus 32 is 63. He went 1-1 all time in Super Bowl history. Okay, because it's very important because he was 11, right? We talk a lot about 11, which is 63. Okay, 63. Brett Favre. Okay. Now, also Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre are heavily compared throughout their careers. They both joined the Jets. Rodgers, of course, went on to win Super Bowl 45 and will most likely stay at 1-0 all time. Okay. With that being said, Jordan Love in his second year as a starter has great expectations and is now compared to Aaron Rodgers. with that being said, I think, I looked this up. It said 10 former Packers have won regular season MVP. Rodgers has 4, Favre has 3, Starr has 1, Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor equal 10. Jordan Love can become the 11th Packer to win the award. Okay, he is, again, a lot of, 11. Again, he'd be the 11th player, 775 in the Latin. So just watch the Latin cipher. We got Jordan, 775. You got Love, 775, all equaling 11. Okay, he could be the 11th player to do so. All right, so that's why I like him as a long 14-1 odds. So good money, to do that. So I think the code is Rodgers and Love can combine to become 1-1 all time to mirror the image of Brett Favre. Okay, so I think Love takes the loss. And now, what's really tricky about the Green Bay Packers? So their championship record is not accurate. So if you look it up, they've only played in 13 championships all time. But it lists their quote-unquote championships as being 13-5. They have 13 quote-unquote championships, but we have to remember the championship game did not exist until 1933. So that's a very, very important asterisk that we need to consider because that changed the dynamic entirely, right? They won championships in 29, 30, and 31, merely all having the best record and second best record in 1927 and 32. So what does that mean? You have to eliminate, you must eliminate 5 of those games, right? So they're not 13-5 in championships. They're actually 10-3, right? Because they take away 3, take away 2. Their actual record is 10-3. And now they're going into the 104th season in the NFL. This will be the Packers' 104th season. This is quite a tricky double code here, okay? The public will believe they're going for their 14th championship, which is technically true, but in reality, it will be their 14th appearance in a championship game in which they can become 10-4. Keep in mind, this is the Packers' 104th season in the NFL. Now, what's really the kicker here is what's selling it for me is the Packers can become 10-4, and the Chiefs can become 5-2 all time in championship games. Okay, hence 104 plus 52, 156. Of course, 9/11 is the 156th prime number. Okay, so a lot of things here to unpack. I went on a nice tangent. I wanted to stay on point, but there's a lot of pieces that we can review just a little bit here. I think the big part of this is, I think a lot of people are on the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs, it almost has to work. And also, technically they're black and white distinct quarterbacks. So I think that's important because it goes with the black-white combination. Let's see if it, so if it shows light equals 56 and 29 the day of the game, the 25th year. Okay, so I think light is a key phrase. Keep in mind Patrick Mahomes. Just to recap this whole information, this is a big decode. I wanted to get through everything because it's a long video, but worth the time. Okay, again, I'm going to be posting this as well. I'm going to make another video about who I like as a potential second opponent. Okay, I forgot to mention this. I kind of brushed through this, but the word beginning. Okay, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning. Okay, Genesis 1:1. Right, Packers win 1. Chiefs win 1. Okay, 1-1 in the beginning. Right, because the word beginning equals 159 in Latin. Okay. Note that the Packers won Super Bowl 45 and the Chiefs won 54. Okay. Now, the Packers can stay on 4 wins. That's why I like them. That's why they won 45. And the Chiefs can move on to 5 wins. That's why they won 54. Okay. Because they're the mirror of each other. Okay. Just to put it all together, of course. Janus wins. Okay. 33. Patrick Mahomes go 3 for 3 against. There's the 15. They both wore number 15. All right. And this is Brady. Right. So I think it's pretty much a lock pick. I like them to go. Again, New Orleans. Also, there's a lot of other information. Can't spell. 126. There's that 4554 again. The tribal chief 126. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, protecting his title reign. And the final score of the last Super Bowl really, kind of solidified it to it. The 49ers won. They lost 22-25. So it seems like the tribal chief's reign will be from 2022 when the season began to 2025. Okay, I think that's a good clue for them to win the Super Bowl. But again, we're gonna post another video. We're gonna stay. I like the Packers to win the NFC. I like Jordan Love to win the MVP in tribute to Michael Jordan 37 years later. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Okay. Again, make sure you guys stay tuned for another video I'm going to post tomorrow before the Ravens and Chiefs game. Double check FX Sports Code. Hope you have a great day. Take care.